And so, it continues. Hello there, welcome back to the Writing Advice Q&A. In tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about the concept of story ideas, whether you should save them, and are you ever gonna be good enough? That and much more in today's video. If you're new, hello there, my name is Max, and I do writing advice videos twice a week here on YouTube. Now, before I jump onto the actual writing advice part of today's video, allow me to remind you, as always, that the following is merely just my advice, my opinion, and what works for me. Don't take it as gospel, instead take it as the ramblings of a silly person who looks a little bit like this. Alright, writing advice. Today we're going to be talking about story ideas and the concept of being good enough. I was having a conversation with one of my writerly friends on Twitter, and two things came up, and they're kind of intertwined. The centerpiece of this entire conversation is story ideas, concepts, seedlings of ideas for books, such as writing a story about X or Y, or writing a story with X kind of ending or Y kind of antagonist, stuff like that. Things that come to you in the midst of living. And I've been doing writing advice for a long time, and I find that there is a little bit of not a silly thing, but something that we writers do all the time. And it is the concept of saving story ideas for later. No, I could save that for later, but we're actually gonna tackle it first. Why do us writers sometimes feel the need to save story ideas for later? Over the years, I've gotten so many messages from different writers, young and old, with different reasonings for it. And I think that it generally falls into two categories. The first one is that the story idea is just too big. We're talking about like several books. I don't know what the term is for a series of books that is 7 or plus, because 3 is trilogy, and I forget the terminology for like 7+ books, but stuff like that. You get this idea and you go, okay, considering how it's gonna go, I think it'll be like 6 books, and I sure the heck don't have time to be writing 6 books right now. And honestly, all things considered, I think that of the two reasonings that I see pop up the most, saving a story idea because it's too big, I think that's understandable. Especially when you look at the time you have, especially if you're, are working or going to school, or a combination of both, or have family as well. I think that that's okay. I'm not saying that there's an okay and a not okay way. I just think that of those two justifications, that one makes sense. The one that I think is a little bit not so on the make sense side is this explanation that I hear sometimes from creators, that when they say, I have this story idea and it would be really awesome, but I'm not good enough to write it, draw it, create it right now. And that's the explanation with which I have issues, primarily because, and we're gonna get kind of meta here, but follow along, okay? Are you ever going to be good enough to write that? Because, and I find that sometimes when I was taking creative writing courses, the people who said that, and I'm generalizing here, the people who said that were the people who hadn't finished the book. And once you go through that whole cycle, of you write the darn thing, you let it sit, you revise it some more, you polish it up, and wow, it actually exists now. It feels good. But you also come to terms with the reality that there is no level up at the end of that. Your XP bar doesn't hit all the way to the other end, and explosions of light and sound, and yeah, level 2. Now I can try harder books. That doesn't happen. I've been saying this for years, and here it comes again. Every book is different. Every book is its own different animal, different beast, and each book will teach you different things. There are books that I've written that were relatively easy, all things considered, and books that were pain, and that forced me to learn things about the way that I write, particularly scheduling and dedication, and man, pushing through emotionally draining scenes. That's a good one. But again, every book is different, and every book will teach you different lessons. And while there are lessons that you can carry from book to book, you're not leveling up, if I can continue on using the video game analogy. So whenever I hear people saying, I want to create this really cool project, but I'm not good enough right now. And my guttural response to that is, are you ever gonna be good enough though? Like what's the metric for that? How do you think you're gonna define that? Because I've been through that, and I can assure you, once you finish a book, and then 2 books, and then 3 books, you end up realizing, oh, it's the same marathon every time. And I'm not saying that to discourage people, but it takes away from that, I guess, the bad side of mysticism regarding a book, where you think that once you've done it, it's the easiest thing ever, and it's not. It's still pain every time. But that's okay. It becomes less about a matter of, okay, I need to have talent. And then you realize, oh no, it's hard work. You sit down, you tell stories, you learn to push away the things that get in the way of writing, and you just work through it. It's still a marathon, you still have to run that, but you can get it done. I mean, you've been through that before. I'm realizing at this point that my metaphors are falling apart, so let's just rewind a little bit. If you have a really cool story idea right now, if you're watching this video, and you think to yourselves, well, I don't think I'm good enough to write it right now, or I'm not confident with my skills. There's 2 things I want to bring up. I understand the concerns for this regarding things like if you want to start a comic, or something in which, or any medium that is not writing. When it comes to writing, let me tell you something, you can just get the thing done. You can just go and write it, because revision is your friend. Your first draft is just the first incarnation of your story. I know I say this, but I have to make it really clear. Stomp it, just mark it real quick. The first draft of your story is just the first draft of your story. I know that, especially if you haven't gone through the whole cycle several times, it feels magical, and it feels like, I don't want to say special, but it feels as though doing the first draft is climbing the mountain, and it's not. It's climbing like the first of 3 mountains that are all stacked together. I know, it looks weird, I know, and it feels really weird once you make it all the way to the bottom, but we are writers, and then you want to start up the mountain again. Which brings me to kind of the point I want to bring around, because we save story ideas for several reasons. We save them because we think they'll be time consuming, and I think that's completely okay. Or we save them because we think that we're not good enough to write them. In which case, I would tell you to just write the darn thing. Just make it. Just do it. Especially if it's writing, because revision is your friend. And you can honestly polish it up, rewrite elements, make it as good as you can possibly make it. Now, depending on your experience with writing or creating content or stories, the next point may sound really simple and really straightforward, but I want you to just follow along, okay? Well, because we save story ideas for several reasons, and as I mentioned, it's too big for now. That's all right. Or I'm not good enough to write this. To which I say, just do it anyway. Generally, in my history, when I've given that second reply, people have come back to me with a very particular reply back, and their reply was usually, well, this is a really good story idea, and if I screw it up now, I won't have this really good story idea for later. As though story ideas are resources, and you have to savor them because there's only so many there are few and far in between. To which I say, no. No, that's not the case. And I'm sure that those of you who have been doing this for a long while can attest that there comes a point in which writers become hyper-aware of story ideas all around you. And this, of course, also the principle that stories are not hard to come by naturally. I love Stephen King's quote from his book on writing, where he says that story ideas come when you find the unlikely connection between 2 seemingly or unrelated things. One thing, another thing. This is what they share in common. Boom, story idea. This with this, or this except this. That's generally the origin of all story ideas. And I could share with you countless stories of times in which I was out in the middle of doing something, buying groceries, or when I was just walking between classes in college, and I would see something, I would hear something, and I would go, oh, what if that plus this? What if that thing she said minus that? Story idea. You hear a loud voice when you're walking your way out of a class dark at night, and you're not sure, was that a scream or was that laughter? And next thing you know, you have come up with some sort of concept of a creature that can do both and neither at the same time. And next thing you know, you got a story about it. And next thing you know, you have a character sitting there. And next thing you know, you have a conflict, a plays, and you're just following them through. Story ideas are everywhere. Flip over a rock, there's gotta be bound to be a couple in there. Just look. That sounded a little condescending. I didn't mean it like that. But story ideas are everywhere. So if anyone out there, if any of you, you've been writing and you have a story idea that you've been wanting to do forever, but you want to savor it because you think it's really good, and you're afraid that if you waste it, misuse it, it'll be gone forever. Well, I want to let you know that there are more stories out there, and there's an unfortunate reality in which, is it better for your story idea to be sitting there on a notepad in your drawer with the rest of other really cool story ideas, or that it actually exists in paper? I think the struggle is worth it, and I think pushing through and making them real is worth it. As anyone out there who has gone through the entire process can tell you, it feels good when it actually exists. And it feels liberating, because instead of feeling like, oh, I don't know what to write anymore because I'm out of ideas, you go, oh, now I can write one of the other thousands of ideas that I have. Now, I know that I've strayed away from the point a little bit. There were a bunch of things I wanted to talk about in this video. It is centralized, though, on story ideas. If you have a story idea and you're afraid that it's too big, I think you can save it depending on your lifestyle. You know, like if you have children and a job and are also going to college, like the trifecta of things that make writing even harder than it already is, then yeah, maybe putting away that 7-book series is probably for the best for now. But if you have the chance, wouldn't it be better for that series to exist, to start existing? Wouldn't that be better? I think it would be. Be brave. Jump in. Just get working on those things. I know that it's comforting to dream of the really cool things that the story idea could become, but you need to keep in mind that story ideas change as you write them. And anyone who's been through that entire process can tell you, sometimes the difficulty of a book is how much it frays from the original story idea. I've had books that I've written that stuck pretty closely, and others that were immediately different from page 1. I was joking on Twitter the other day that I wrote I did a mini outline for what I thought would happen in that day's writing session. This thing should happen, this thing should maybe happen between these two characters, and one sentence in, everything's out the window. One sentence. You may think, Max, it's gotta be a real mighty sentence. No, it's not. It's really straightforward. It was the one thing I didn't think about. That's writing, though. That's what makes it fun. You never know where it's gonna take you, and you're the first reader. So, if you think you're not good enough, how would you become good enough and just start writing the darn thing? Huh? Maybe you are good enough and you don't know it. There is no metric for this, by the way, just to be really clear. The amount of books written, the amount of people who read your books, the amount of money you got in your bank account, those things don't change the actual work of getting outside and start running that marathon. Metaphors falling apart. But you get what I'm saying. And lastly, the last trifecta for anyone out there who may be thinking, Max, but if I write the story now, it'll be wasted. Is that any better than just letting it sit in a drawer? Sitting in one of the thousands of pages of your notebooks that are just kind of stuffed in one corner? Or just make it real. Have it exist in the world so you can hold it in your hands. It's a long journey, and it's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be worth it. Okay? I think it's better for those things to exist than to just letting them sit on the side. And there will be more story ideas. There will always be more story ideas than time. I can assure you of that. So, as I am starting to sign off, because this was a long video with a lot of things on it, if you are having the completely opposite problem, if you, dear writerly friend, you've got too many story ideas, I can't even hold them, there are just so many, I would like to inspire you to on this channel, there should be a guide to how to plan a novel. It should be the very first video on the channel page. Go check that out. It's my novel planning guide, my favorite video that I've ever done. It's the most effective way where I put all my advice forward. Additional to that, though, if you don't think you need any more planning or outlining advice, pick the one that excites you the most. Writing a book is a long and treacherous process, and it takes a while. You might as well pick something that excites you, okay? Make it true, make it yours, okay? Okay, this video has gone on for way too long. I want to thank you for tagging along. If you have a question you would like me to answer, or a subject you would like me to talk about on a future video, please let me know in the comments down below as well with your thoughts on the subject that was answered or talked about today. As we're moving into the formal outro, if you enjoyed this video and would like to make sure that I can continue on making videos like this one for the foreseeable future, please consider checking out my Patreon on the screen right now. You can get cool perks like getting to watch my videos early. But if Patreon is not your cup of coffee, how about a cup of tea instead? One-time donation in the link in the description down below. Thank you for tagging along. I really do appreciate it. I hope that I gave you another point of view. On the formal outro right now, up here, playlist with over 200 writing advice videos. Wow, that's too many. No, it's not. More of those coming to you soon. Down here, Patreon. Up here, my pixel face where you can just click on to subscribe. And down here, my other channel with Kitty where we are very, 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 very silly people. Thank you for tagging along. Thank you for spending a little bit of your day with me. And I hope to see you on the next one.